Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to everybody in the chat. We're just warming things up, letting people roll in. Speaking of warming things up, we've got Robin. Robin's always here to wake us up. Give us the morning coffee, Robin.
You know the deal, baby. You guys know the deal, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat. You guys know it's another Sunday live. We got the crew in the house. My man is all the video footage. My man Nick NNB Sports. Shout out to everybody that's already coming through. Real Recognize Real. Wake Anthony, Michael Knight, Michael Marie. Shout out to all you guys. Renee 43, Mr. Q, Lion Tamer, Groove Sphincter, Boogie 30590, Charlie Joshums. Thank you very much, guys. Shout out to my man Story Games. You guys know. Let's roll.
Oh, where's Renee? Where's Renee?
Renee, where you at? Chase, what's good, man?
Oh, historic moment. No Renee. Nick, what's up with you?
Sorry, let me unmute. Yeah, I mean, Cooper Flag's officially a Maverick. I'm pretty stoked about that. I think everyone's looking forward to seeing how that's going to work out. We re-signed Kyrie. I think we got a good deal there. So it's been a big up and down the last few years of being a Mavs fan.
How long till Kyrie actually gets back on the floor?
I have not looked at his timeline, but I think he's going to miss maybe like early part of the year, half the year. It just depends on his rehab.
Yeah, that sucks.
So hopefully that'll give maybe Cooper a little more minutes, a little more touches, maybe speed that process up a little bit. Who knows? Kids talking about maybe playing him at the point, which I think would be interesting to see what that looks like.
Maybe the Mavericks can make a splash in the offseason.
Maybe we'll see. I think we're pretty tied up, so I hope if we do make a splash, I hope it goes the other way this time. That's for sure.
I mean, if anybody should be
just being a little bit funny right there.
Yeah, one of Robin's rants, because if anybody should be tied up, it's the Lakers. I mean, has anybody spent more money, more assets, more future trade picks, and still somehow is able to make big splashes afterwards, as if Luka Doncic isn't a big enough splash? I mean, have you ever seen someone's career go in the dumper faster than Luka getting traded to LeBron?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it kind of happened at a weird time of the year, and them getting bounced obviously doesn't help. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I'm still pulling for Luka, but he's got a lot of extracurricular activities around him now that I don't think he really had in Dallas per se. So I hope that doesn't drag him down even further.
To everybody watching, just so you know what to expect, we are going to have our special data correspondent, self-researched NBA facts come in at 9:30. He's done apparently the entire finals run looking at these narratives of Michael Jordan possibly not deserving MVP, and he cranked out the entire set already. It'll be interesting. I told him to surprise us with which subject he's going to present today. So I don't actually know, but we all know that he brings it, and it's going to be good. So
Real. Shout out to Jim, man. Shout out to Bernard Camp. I see you in the chat. Shout out to my man Ken Speech Road. Shout out to, like I said, all you guys to continue to support our channel. You guys are faithful support.
Robin?
So thank you very much, guys.
keep working on that. Keep working on that Wi-Fi extender, Robin. We're losing you.
Not again.
No.
We thought we had it. Nick.
Mm-hmm.
Nick specifically wanted to talk about the draft. And Nick, I'm going to put the burden on you. Set the table. Tell us what stood out to you in the draft and why, what you think was ridiculous and what you think was great.
Well, I mainly wanted to talk about the Ace Bailey situation.
Mm-hmm.
I just find the whole thing, it's not crazy, but it's taking it to like another level that we haven't seen before. I mean, I know Eli Manning and it did this in football. It's kind of where this famously, I think, kind of started for the modern era. I'm sure it's happened before. But that was kind of the first time a number one draft pick or a high draft pick kind of just forced his way out of where he was drafted. But Ace Bailey came in. For those who don't know, like, he refused to meet with certain. So first of all, he had a list. He essentially said the top 5 teams he does not want to be drafted by. And the story kind of goes that Utah was really hoping for like a top 2, top 3 pick. Like, they really tanked this year. They really had their eyes set on those top 2 picks. And so they fell to number 5. And even though Ace Bailey had kind of told them, I don't want to go to Utah, Utah's kind of stuck. Like, this guy is easily the best guy left from what they had seen, right? And considering we've fallen, we haven't gotten what we want, we have to take this guy, right? It's kind of what they saw. And I believe Danny Ainge and his kid are the ones who are currently running the Utah Jazz front office. And so he comes in, and so they have to draft him. They draft him, and he's essentially just trying to force his way out. He doesn't want to go to Utah. I think Monday is the official day for him to actually go to camp, or the preseason is like when you officially need to come. So we'll find out tomorrow or this week to the extent how committed he is to not going to Utah. But the fact he had a list of teams and now he is refusing to even go to Utah, it's just getting to another level of it. You know, we talk about entitlement and this wanting to come into like a perfect situation, right? Like, you're owed a team with 2 all-stars on it already who are a contender. You know, it's just ballooning to such a degree. It's crazy.
Who can we thank for that sort of leadership? Who just got on his podcast and whined about Cooper Flagg's situation compared to his?
Yeah, I saw that too.
I've heard a lot of people's takes on that, and there's one thing that I didn't hear people say yet. LeBron is basically admitting that he's not the guy who can come in and be the leader, which, you know, what did Michael Jordan walk into? Michael Jordan walked in and had to become the guy. He didn't walk into a nest of Hall of Famers. And, you know, just LeBron not being willing to shut his mouth keeps effing him, because saying, oh, look what I needed. It's so unfair that I didn't walk into a situation like Cooper Flagg. Anyway, we're all used to the whining. But, Nick, one thing I want to say about what you said, Bailey should just calm down because he won't be there long. The Jazz are just a farming community, right, for the Lakers and other teams.
Seems to be, yes.
Yeah, just calm down, bro. You're not going to be there very long.
You know, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Am I sounding okay right now or no?
Yes, welcome back.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, guys. Forgive me, everybody out there, man. I know I struggle, man.
It's all right. Move on.
You know what's interesting about this scenario? I was not really aware of this whole entire scenario, and thank you, Nick, for letting everybody know and putting this out there. Because I'll be honest, the draft really had no appeal to me. I kind of forgot the draft was actually happening. Once again, I know Nick is a big-time Mavericks fan, and you guys had the number 1 pick, so it would be definitely obviously that you would be interested in the draft. If the Knicks had the number 1 pick, I would be looking at the draft. But when we think about saying what's interesting about this is that I don't understand why these guys don't ever look at this as a challenge, as something to be like, you know what, the Utah Jazz ain't won a damn thing. I can come into a franchise and turn this around. I can be that kind of guy. Karl Malone couldn't do these things. John Stockton couldn't do these things. You know, you can be someone like that to come into a franchise like this and take that challenge upon yourself, because make no mistakes about it, that's literally what Michael Jordan did. And I'm not comparing this kid to Michael Jordan or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, if you think about that scenario, if the game's greatest player was willing to come into a franchise, the Chicago Bulls, that were inept, that were mired in mediocrity, and take that challenge. And what did he say, Michael Jordan, when he first got there? I guarantee you, every year I'm here, we're going to make the playoffs. That's the mission, to be contenders, to be in the playoffs. And Michael Jordan lived up to that hype. He did that every year he was there. They made the postseason, man. So why can't these young kids come in here and be like, yeah, I'm playing for some crap franchise that never won anything. I can be the dude to lead them. I can be Dirk Nowitzki on the Dallas Mavericks and grind it out all those years and have something that really is valuable. I mean, Dirk Nowitzki's a king in Dallas.
Haven't we lost the entire concept of what the draft is supposed to accomplish? Like, even out the problem? You're not supposed to add on to a team that's already got the advantage.
Even if I was more of a selfish individual thinking person where I cared about the money and I wanted to go to a better situation, I would still see going to what you would consider to be a bad team a great opportunity for you to get the ball a lot and quote unquote ball out, as the kids say, and then get that big contract, right? Like that's really what you're playing for, I think, as a rookie. The pay's kind of already decided for you. You know, they've really kind of structured these rookie contracts, even in like the NFL and stuff, because the negotiations and things are just becoming such a lottery pick, and people were overpaying and all kinds of things, right? It's causing all kinds of divisions if people can remember it. And it was just getting so ridiculous that people were paying such a premium for just potential, right? Mm-hmm. But to think that you don't want to come in somewhere where you're going to get the ball a lot if you're on a bad team, and whether you see it as inflated stats or what have you, that really sets you up for the next contract where you really have some leverage to decide where you want to go, who you want to sign with, and for how much, right? So even if I was selfish, I would kind of be seeing it like that.
Yeah, and Nick, to the point you just made, let's say you have some young talent that comes out there and, like you said, puts up these numbers on a mediocre bad team. Then all of a sudden, maybe you might attract free agents to come play with you. Maybe someone sees you as, hey, man, I can work with this dude. He showed some flashes out here last season. And maybe guys might want to come play. Maybe that gives your team some leverage in free agency. When you say, hey, man, you want to get paired up with this new dude right here? You see what he was doing last season. You know, maybe you could take him to another level. You know, these are the kinds of things that we're talking about. These are the things that we are talking about as far as the NBA as a whole. The competitiveness, that all goes back to being a competitor. If that's your mindset to come into a team as a rookie that maybe is not that good or has an historic franchise, so to speak, that's known for winning, then that's being competitive.
How does this compare to what Kobe did? Not that Kobe needs to be shit on any more than the media has been, but didn't he kind of hold out and refuse? He said, I'm only going to the Lakers.
I have to go look up how true that was. I don't know. I know that he got traded, so if that's true, it worked, I suppose. But I don't quite know about that. I think the Lakers kind of had their eyes on him from the get-go. So
I decided it'd be an interesting comparison because I'm sure it's still not as bad.
People sleep on Kobe Bryant. I mean, people forget even Kawhi Leonard was a draft day trade. The Indiana Pacers drafted Kawhi Leonard and traded him to the Spurs on the draft day. So, you know, these are the kinds of things that we think about. What would the Pacers have been with Kawhi Leonard all these years? You could have paired him with maybe a Paul George, you know, some of these kinds of things. So, you know, teams do these things. They make mistakes. They don't think someone's going to be that good. Scottie Pippen was a draft day trade. And everyone's pumping up Scottie Pippen as the greatest player of all time, apparently.
Let's give some love to our super chatters. And I saw a few comments giving props to Jim for his work this week. And Lomo says Self-Research did an amazing job with his finals video. And Jolly Joshams, good morning, Jolly Joshams. And he says, good morning. Talking about more help, ain't it funny how they say these old superstars still need more help when the last finals was two teams led by young guys traded from their first teams? That's a good point. That's no small detail.
Yep, exactly. You know, I want to say something about Jim real quick and his channel. I don't know if a lot of people realize, you know, when we do these Sunday shows, we've been doing this for a while now, man. And we've, you know, the community has grown and we've stretched out, man. Like I said, guys have shared our stuff and we've interacted with different channels and people. And, you know, it's been amazing. When you think about Jim's channel and the work that he's done over there and how his channel has developed, it's grown. If you guys remember it, he started as someone in our comment section, in the chat section of our Sunday Lives. I don't think a lot of people realize this. And we were the ones that encouraged him to start his channel. We said, dude, listen, man, this guy always had great comments in my videos. He always made great chat in the chats on the Sunday Lives. And we were like, yo, man, you should be putting a video on this stuff. You should be doing this because you got some things. I didn't even heard of some of the stuff that he was coming out with, that he had researched. So much respect to him. And like I said, being willing to go out there. And like I said, man, this is what we're talking about when I say, man, I appreciate everyone who comes out here. And these are the kinds of people that we bring to these Sunday Lives. Someone like Self-Research, NBA Facts.
Yeah, I'll just try not to be bitter at how fast everybody is growing compared to my 7 years in isolation. Oh, hey, before I read the next,
yes.
Very cool.
Oh, I like that. Shout out to my man
too.
AOH, man, with the drip on, like the young kids would say.
Let's see. All right, so we've got next we have. Oh, by the way, I got to give love to Stefan, who designed the AOH logo, and this will be up in the store shortly. This is just a sample from the printers. And I was like, is it okay? It seems to be pretty okay, so I'll put it up officially.
I like it.
From Lynetta 402. What's up, fellas? This is Renee 43. Not sure why my name changed. Oh, well, that explains things. Man, the universe fell apart for a second there. Do you all see how they are trying to attach Bronny to Cooper Flag? Oh, I saw the headlines and I didn't even click on it. I mean, how much more absurd can this shit get? Do you guys know what Renee is saying?
No, I want to know. Someone tell me.
Yeah.
In terms of the
Anyone
age, is really all I saw.
I mean, even us old, angry people have our threshold. You just can't click on all the stupidity. I've got like 10 video ideas that I started from this last week, and that's the problem with tuning into ESPN at all. It's just like, my God, can you people be any more stupid and mislead the public any more thoroughly? Shit, maybe we should have an early caller to let us know what that's all about. While we got Jim coming on in about 10 minutes.
Real quick, the draft. So I like what the Phoenix Suns have did, getting off KD's contract. And again, I think that perhaps the Rockets are setting themselves to get him off the books next year and do a trade. I think that might be an interesting move. So I like what both those teams did. I think the Suns got better, and they got the draft pick. I just think that the Suns made a good move for maybe 2-3 years from now. Again, if they can get off this Bradley Beal contract, or if he starts playing, one or the other, if they can do something with that, move off of that. I mean, I think, Booker is a nice piece. I'm not a fan of Booker. I love to hate Booker because of the whole him and Luka thing. But if Booker's like your third best player, that is a good squad, right? I think that's what they should shoot for. I think they can maybe make that happen. The Atlanta Hawks got Kristaps Porzingis. I think in terms of the Eastern Conference, the Celtics, I think, will be not as good next year. I think they're finally showing, things have shifted a little bit. Tatum's injured. So I think Atlanta has set themselves up pretty nicely to maybe make a run at the Eastern Conference, depending if Kristaps can stay healthy, right? I know that might seem like a lot, but I think their ceiling has really come up. Give someone to play off with Trae Young. So those are some of the moves. I think the Pelicans making that deal with the Hawks was a bad move, but if that guy, the Queen guy that they drafted, pans out, then it'll be a good trade. But we'll see.
What have the numbers for Porzingis been the last couple of years in terms of games played?
Let me see. Not good.
No.
Is he more or less available than LeBron, Iron Man James?
Let me see.
Mr. Availability is a skill.
Last year he played 42 games. The year before that, 57. The year before that, 65.
All right, we're in the LeBron James range.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. See, that's the problem with someone like Porzingis. The thing about the Kevin Durant trade that bothers me the most is not necessarily, maybe that Houston, got rid of Jalen Green, or they got rid of their future, I guess, so to speak, and they went for more of a win now. Like you were saying, Nick, this is a scenario for the Houston Rockets next year. This is what I'm predicting here for what it's worth. And this is what I think they're setting themselves up for. So they're going to have this season. They're going to have Kevin Durant, and they have a bunch of young players. They got talent. Kevin Durant's got a team around him, man. Make no mistakes about it. If they make no moves, if they do nothing else, just this team alone, with the way they've hyped up Kevin Durant, this team should be a formidable team, man. They were a very good defensive team last year. They had nothing to do with Jalen Green. They lost Dylan Brooks. I think that's going to hurt them a little bit. But you bring Kevin Durant. They're going to play this season out. If the Houston Rockets struggled out the gates, they start struggling before the All-Star break, before the trade deadline. If they're not really spinning, right, they're not really going, they don't have cohesion, they don't have this camaraderie. Kevin Durant's not a real leader, in my opinion. Is he going to have these guys going? Is he going to maximize them? Is he going to be there? Because, once again, Kevin Durant, the same thing. He's been frail also. But if they don't start off good, then Kevin Durant's going to be trade bait. That's what's going to be happening. They're going to try, like you said, need to get rid of that contract. And Kevin Durant's going to be out there possibly as a free agent, and or a guy that could be on the trade deadline, the trading blocks in the middle of the season for a team to just pick up Kevin Durant. This is what's possibly going to be happening next year, guys. I'm telling you right now, if the Houston Rockets struggle, all the pressure's on Kevin Durant to make this team go.
Yeah. And what's crazy is that, actually, now you say that, if they trade Kevin Durant, the Rockets may end up coming away with even more goodies.
Yup.
I'm just going to say goodies. If
They'll
they
the team.
There's a team on the cusp, but they think, man, we just need like a 25 point per game score, and that's really going to set us over the top. They could get some really good value in return for Durant. And in a weird way, a young team will have sort of semi-reloaded again, and they're going to make another shot at a few assets, right? It could be quite a crazy team the Rockets have in a couple of years.
Kevin Durant's very talented. I don't picture him as a leader, though. So if we say that he's not the leader, who is the leader on the Rockets?
I guess it'd be the coach.
I think it's Udoka. They have the coach there.
And the point guard, yes. Van Fleet I think Van Fleet is a steady hand. I think he's good at that. I think to me, he doesn't come off rattled. He never seems like he's out of control. Is he like a shot maker or some kind of big player like that? No. But I think he is a good point guard that if I were to look at him, he doesn't seem scared. He doesn't seem shy at the moment. I think that's good for a young team.
And so Sengun, maybe I'm messing his name up.
Sengun,
yeah, but he could be a guy also to step into that role. I mean, you could argue he's their best player.
Yeah, he also seems like he's ready to take. He seems like he is able to be a leader. He seems vocal. He seems like he's ready for the moment too. So like those three guys, I think will. And they also have some young guys. You never know, a young guy, a leadership's kind of sometimes you're born with it, but one of these young guys might step up and be a good leader in the future. You never know.
Is Adams on that team?
I'm going to shift gears.
No, I don't think so.
I'm going to shift gears to prepare for Jim coming in. I want to read this super chat from Fred B. Jams. Jerry West believed in Kobe. Oh, this is going back to me asking about when Kobe entered and made magic. Hornets never believed in Kobe because he was straight out of high school. And we got to remember that was still fairly rare back then. It was a big deal that Kobe was coming out of high school.
Well, that's what I said. People, they slept on. Kobe Bryant was slept on, guys. He was slept on. They were talking about those workouts that Kobe Bryant did for some of these teams and how impressive he was. And yet some of these teams still didn't take Kobe Bryant.
So I did a short about Gary Payton. I don't know if you guys watched it.
Excellent point.
Thank you. It was one thing that was left out. And here's my spin off of it. Some people in the comments, as they do, start arguing things that didn't exist in the first place. Like, oh, well, Karl Malone also ring chased and, Barkley ring chased at the end of his career. I never said they didn't. Is Gary Payton, whether they ring chased or not, and we can say all three of them ring chased at the end of their careers, are Karl Malone and Charles Barkley still not ranked higher overall than Gary Payton in the all-time list? Mm-hmm. Point being, we have two, in fact, you idiots that left those comments have now given me more evidence. Now we have two greats that are ringless that you still consider higher than Gary Payton, who does have a ring. Rings are not the A-all, B-all. They're not. We remember people for how they played and how they got what rings they did get. And LeBron James, you're going to be remembered for the shady way that you got the rings that you did get. That's the ring culture effect that you brought to the NBA. The shady manner of hiring mercenaries to go get you rings.
I mean, listen, to include Karl Malone as a ring chaser to me is not valid, man. The man played one season out of Utah at 40 years old, and you're calling him a ring. To me, that doesn't qualify. See, this is what we're talking about. Back in the day when guys were, quote unquote, ring chasing, they did it at the tail ends of their careers after they had already tried over and over and over and over again. No one thinks anything about Gary Payton getting that Miami Heat ring. The point you made, AOH, is still valid because no one was like, yeah, that ring really made Gary Payton. No, because Gary Payton wasn't one of the main guys for that ring. If he would have been the number one or the number two guy to get that ring, then yes, you can say that enhanced his career because maybe he would have been a Finals MVP or had a chance to do something. But when you're the 7, 6, 8, 7, 8, 9 guy on the bench, and not saying that he didn't contribute, he played a role. He was a role player on that team. So once again, the ring does not put him above Karl Malone or Charles Barkley.
I was going to piggyback real quick. People sometimes ask, can LeBron ever surpass MJ and if he wins more rings? And I always say no, because he's not the main guy anymore. He's not going to be that guy who's going to average 30 points, leading his team to a finals. For him to say, I won another ring, it's sort of past that point. That's why he's hanging on so long. He knows he just has to build up this accumulative resume as big as he can to try and make the argument.
Yo, shout out to the Jesse Gladsack. He put in the chat that Gary Payton hit a game winner in the finals that year.
I don't want to talk about Game 3, dude. We're not talking about Game 3 in 2006. I'm not talking about it, dude.
But once again,
I remember the shot.
Gary Payton played a role. He was a role player. Who else hit a game winner? Steve Kerr, John Paxson. Those guys hit game winners. They were role players. No one thinks that John Paxson is going to put him in a round that he doesn't belong in. It's a different thing for someone like Gary Payton to be a role player at that time in his career. Like I said, with these other guys.
And I hate to say it, but that game winner he hit turned the entire series. Like Mavs were up 2-0 rolling, and he hit that game winner. And I'm pretty sure it was Game 3. And from then on, the series just went the total other way.
Yeah, and this helps me say what I already wanted to say. My point wasn't to crap on Karl Malone or Gary Payton. Karl Malone was a very solid piece for that Lakers team. And then he got hurt. I mean, Karl Malone was a huge piece for that team. And I'm sure Gary Payton brought some leadership, but I guess Gary Payton also was like saying stupid shit about the triangle.
And listen, we respect Gary Payton's ring. No one thinks that was a cheap ring, a BS ring that he would have won. No, he was a contributor. He played a role. He didn't get some BS ring. He didn't ride on the bus, so to speak, and just kind of hang out there at the end of the bench and play a couple of minutes. No, Gary Payton earned that ring. He was on the team. He earned that ring, man. So everyone respects Gary Payton as a champion, a true champion.
Yeah, and you have Dwayne Wade, right? Like, you're not going to take a veteran Gary Payton to be your backup point guard. Like, why wouldn't you do that? Any team would have loved to have that as your backup point guard, especially if you have a young team.
Let's bring it back to Michael Jordan for a moment, because, his career is so mind-boggling that anti-Jordan people will look at the few imperfections. It's like a supermodel's face that has a zit, whereas LeBron James is a face of zits, and it's harder to narrow down which part of the problem you want to talk about. But what if Michael Jordan didn't go 6-0? Everybody they make it sound like Jordan wouldn't have as good of an argument if he didn't go 6-0. If Jordan had lost one of those finals, he really doesn't drop that much for me, because we're more interested in how he played and how he competed. In fact, now that these revisionists have us looking more closely at his teammates, it's almost a miracle that he got all 6 of those.
100%, yeah. Let's say he loses that first series to Oklahoma or Utah, and then he comes back and hits the game winner, right? And he did this when they played the second time. I'm not sure that really does much, right? Losing to Stockton and Malone, right, in the finals in a Game 7, you're only Game 7. You come back and hit the game winner, right, the next year. I don't know if it really matters much. Like you're saying, in my opinion, I'm not sure it really does much to tarnish his legacy.
It would give the small-minded people in their small-minded world another little thing to say, oh, Jordan couldn't even beat these plumbers, because they would, of course, call Stockton and Malone plumbers, because that fits their stupid little narratives.
Well, like Nick just mentioned, you mentioned Game 3. They talked about Game 3 in the finals that year in 2006, right? And you talked about that was a turning point in the series. When you think about the Chicago Bulls, there were several instances in the finals that could have been turning points against them, not necessarily for them. But Michael Jordan was the guy that we were always marveling at, raising his level of play. So like we always mention in 91, game 3 with the series tied, that was a turning point series, a game in the series. And what happened? Michael Jordan just happened to hit one of the craziest shots that sent it to overtime. He had to do that. He literally had to do that and then lead his team in overtime with his teammate, his best teammate, on the bench in foul trouble. So it could have easily went the other way. But why didn't it? Because he raised his level of play in that moment like only Michael Jordan could. You talk about the 92 finals. It was tied 2 games apiece. And in game 5, Michael Jordan got 46 points in that game. 46 in a pivotal game 5, man. That was a huge game in Portland. So when you think about these things, we talked about the flu game. That just happened to be game 5, side 2 games apiece. And they were playing another game in Utah, man. And Michael Jordan raised his level of play. That's why he's 6-0. He could have easily been 3-3. He could have easily been 2-4. Easily.
I want to welcome self-researched NBA facts to the stage. There's a couple of super chats and some other good comments, but we will circle back to those because Jim has a limited schedule. And hey, Jim, you got some compliments already in the chats about what the work you did this week, and welcome to the show.
Thanks. Good morning, guys. I appreciate it. It was fun to put together. It was definitely a lot of work, but I love this stuff more than watching TV I'm telling you, I live for this stuff. And I don't really watch the modern NBA much at all. Just the prima donnas to me, they're overpaid. They whine about playing 82 games. They want to shorten to 40 minutes now, I heard. I can't get down with that stuff, honest to God, I would rather watch an old grainy VCR game of Indiana and Sacramento from 1984 than I would the modern NBA. Now, that's just me. It is what it is.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Reach on, Jim, my man.
Hell
Jim,
yeah, brother.
No, but the Finals MVP stuff, it's definitely gotten out of hand. We're now revising Finals MVPs, and so I went and did a whole series on it.
Yeah,
and what I looked into and I found really interesting was Finals MVP came out in '69. We know Jerry West won the very first one on a losing team. The '70s was really screwy on the voting. For example, 1978, they gave the Finals MVP to Wes Unseld. The dude had 9 points a game and 11.7 rebounds. If you watch, I saw this clip where Brent Musburger was doing the games. He said the CBS Finals MVP for them was Bob Dandridge. Made sense. He had a pretty good series. But Elvin Hayes led Washington in points and rebounds, and they didn't give it to him. With no mention of him at all. It was just strange. They were doing stuff like that, like Magic in 1980. He had the great game, maybe the greatest finals game ever played by a player. But Kareem was the MVP. We all know that. But because Kareem was in LA and they were in Philly, they wanted to present it to somebody. They just kind of said, "Here, Magic, we give it to you." So it was kind of screwy back then. But
Do you mind if I ask
the 1986 finals? Yeah, go ahead.
So I was going to say,
Yeah,
if
what do you got?
maybe you can correct me. It feels like perhaps back in the day, the Finals MVP award felt like the best player on the team for the season. I feel like kind of default got the award.
Yeah.
Is that kind of how it worked?
Yeah, that's what it seemed like. It was really weird. Like Dennis Johnson in '79, he won the Finals MVP, but Gus Williams averaged 29 points a game. And there was nothing really that clear cut why Dennis Johnson should have won it. Yeah, he led the team in assists, and I think he had maybe half a rebound more than the guy who was second, but nothing clear cut. He only averaged in that series 22.6 points a game, but Gus Williams averaged 29. I just think that was a pretty obvious choice. But in '86, Bird and McHale, Bird averaged 24 points a game, but he led the team in rebounds, assists, steals, the whole gambit. Shot, the best from three, free throw. McHale actually averaged 1.8 more points per game, but they gave it to Bird. That was the smart thing. We played the best series, whatever. But ever since that finals in '86, so that was 39 finals ago, 4 times has a player got Finals MVP who was not the leading scorer on the winning team. 4 times in the last 39 finals. So everybody wants to revise this stuff. All you got to do is look at who that was. And the 4 that was really close. It was Chauncey Billups in 04, and he was only 0.4 of a point under Richard Hamilton. And, obviously he also shot 10% better from the field. He guarded Kobe part of the series. It was a pretty easy choice in my mind. The other one was Kawhi Leonard in 2014, 17.8 to Parker's 18. So pretty close there. But Kawhi Leonard shot 61.2% from the field, and Parker shot 47.9. And Leonard also shot over 50% from 3. He guarded LeBron, held him pretty good, under 30-point average in the series. And then you got the one that I disagree with is Andre Iguodala in 2015. Curry averaged 26 points a game. Iguodala at 16.3. I think they were looking at the last half of the series, why they gave, but not the series as a whole, where Curry easily should have won that, in my mind. I know there's been a lot of controversy about that one. The last one I don't know about much because I didn't watch it. And that was 24 Boston, where Jaylen Brown averaged 20.8, but Jason Tatum averaged 22.2. It's only 1.4. I don't know. Was Tatum that bad? I don't know. You guys tell me.
I'm just going to say a side comment, and I'm not going to acknowledge the person, but it's just astonishing how the LeBron kids, I pray to God they're not adults, just repeat in comments what they heard Nick Wright or one of these other fools say. Like,
Yes.
you people have absolutely no fucking clue what actually went down, and you have no problem not knowing. That's what's disturbing. You should have the tiniest hint or concept of responsibility to even know what you're talking about instead of just repeating what you want to believe. But that's just the way it is now, isn't it?
Hey, Jim, I want to say something about the Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, a 1980 Finals MVP that you mentioned. See, for me, when I think of, now listen, I wasn't old enough, obviously, to watch that live or to know or to be an expert here on those finals. But to me, what it seemed like Magic Johnson did in those finals is that he swung the momentum. Because let's be real, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar goes down with the ankle, and who knows and who's to say if he's going to be able to come back and play in the rest of that series. So for me, Magic Johnson winning that Finals MVP, I don't know if it was necessarily because, of the one game, and, you said he wasn't in LA, and I get all that, and there is some credence to that. But the momentum swing, because let's say they lose that game. Let's say Magic Johnson comes out there and drops 15 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. He has a bad game. He's a freaking rookie, right? He has a rookie game, and they lose that game. Now all of a sudden, now they have another game they got to play in the game. You know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden it turns into like, oh my God.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was like highway robbery or anything, and I understand the logic behind it. Kareem did score 40 in Game 5 the game before. But as a whole, they don't even get up 3-2 without Kareem. But again, it's that one there isn't that.
Think about 1998, Jim. Think about 98 with the Bulls. There were a lot of people saying if Michael Jordan, the Bulls don't win that game because Scottie Pippen is so injured, there's no way they can win that series because Scottie Pippen's done. He can't play in Game 7. So you have to think about these kinds of things. It's, like I said, what if Kareem Abdul-Jabbar can play in the next game because he went down and Magic Johnson doesn't have that performance and the Lakers lose? They lose the momentum. So Magic Johnson was the MVP because of the momentum swing and the timing of his performance. The Andre Iguodala thing, it wasn't necessarily about the numbers for someone like Andre Iguodala. It was similar to Kawhi Leonard. It was the impact in the momentum swing. This man literally was locking LeBron James up at the end of Games 4, at the end of Games 5. He had LeBron James taking off-balance shots, LeBron James looking sloppy, looking unsure of himself, and LeBron James on the other end allowed this dude, Andre Iguodala, to double his average from the regular season to the finals from 8 to 16 points. That has to matter.
It matters. I agree.
We have a comment. We have a comment about that specifically that I would like to read. In fact, we got a few we should catch up on. Well, it wasn't about Andre, but it's about Kawhi shooting 61.2% from the field in 2014 finals, still a record field goal percentage for finals MVP. Guess who was guarding Kawhi? Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. Why? They'll shine a light on like the other person as if Oh, look what they overcame because they were guarding the great LeBron. How about shining a light on the failure of LeBron if he's supposedly that great and the person across from him had success?
Go look what Draymond Green was doing to LeBron James in Game 7 of the 2016 NBA Finals. That's supposed to be LeBron James' counterpoint. Draymond Green was setting up for the Finals MVP that season, man, if Kyrie Irving doesn't save the game and hit that shot.
Wow. At least one more super chat that is also on topic. Thank you, Story Games. And I don't know if I said the name before, but the previous one was Jolly Joshams. Thank you again, Jolly. Or I'm sorry, it was the Jesse Glad Saget. I'll circle back to you, Jolly. Story Game says the finals MVP isn't and shouldn't be based solely on who scores the most. Well, we agree, but they changed that because if LeBron scores the most, they ignore everything else. If he doesn't, then they ignore scoring. I mean, that's just the way it goes.
Right, and that's my whole point.
Look at Luka.
I wasn't saying that I necessarily agree with why they're doing this, but simply the last 39 finals, 35 was the leading score. So we're not going to revise, pick and choose which one because our favorite player is LeBron and we don't like Jordan. So we're going to go and revise his finals only. No, that's not how we're doing it. I agree that it shouldn't be just points per game. But this silly notion that Scottie Pippen, he didn't get within 10 points per game of Jordan. Okay, fine. It's not about the points. Jordan shot a way higher volume of shots. He never outshot Jordan in any of the finals. And in all the front courts that the Bulls played the opponent, that would be Pippen and Horace Grant in the first three. And Pippen, and I even put in Kukoc instead of Rodman. Every one of the front courts were out. The Bulls were outscored, and all of them except for 92 by like 1 or 2 points. So it's not the defense either. There's no base to start an argument for Scottie Pippen to win an MVP in the finals. There just isn't one. There's not a single season. 91, I've heard. Oh, yeah, 91. Michael Jordan's the only player in NBA history to average 30 points and 11 assists in a finals. All right? Wow. He's got a defensive record. 14 steals in a 5-game finals. He's got a shooting record, 13 consecutive field goals made in that finals. He's also got the best shooting backcourt game, which was game 2. They shot, 23 for 26. That's the best all-time in the finals. He's got the most assists in a player's first finals. He's got all the records. Pippen had a good series.
Let's add perspective. Let's add perspective to that, like your 30-11 record that still stands. That was 30 points when people were allowed to play defense. And that was 11 assists when they didn't reward an assist when the person dribbled 8 times and made some moves and got to the hoop after they had the ball thrown to them. He still holds it, even though the criteria was more difficult.
Right. Yeah.
But the first round this year, I know it's not the finals, but look what they did to Luka this year. Luka scores the most points, and they turn around and say, oh, yeah, well, that doesn't matter. Do the other things. The flip-flopping to help LeBron is just on a absolutely mind-boggling level. Jim, did you see the short that I did about Nick Wright lying about the 96 series being different if Payton had guarded Jordan the whole time? It's based on your video.
I did. Oh, yeah, I did.
I mean, you knocked it out of the park, but the one tiny thing you didn't leave out was that Nick just flat out lied about everything being a shutdown after that. He averaged out the last games instead of including the fact that Jordan shot 50% in Game 5. I mean, that's pretty misleading, is it not?
Yeah, and Payton did not guard him the whole game in any of those games. Like exactly. I said, Game 6, the second half, it was almost exclusively Hersey Hawkins. And so no mention of that, but it's just a dumb narrative. It's so stupid.
What did you come up with? 56%?
What I've noticed is it's anything to bring Michael Jordan down, anything at all they can use, try to lower him, because obviously LeBron does not reach Jordan. So Jordan wasn't as great as we all saw with our own eyes. So they're trying to bring him down. That's what's going on. It's obvious. And anything LeBron does, it's the greatest ever. Like my video tomorrow, I'm doing Nick Wright has a clip who said LeBron James's 2018 Game 1 was the best finals game ever played. I'm like, yep. Are we all on drugs now? What are you talking about? That wasn't even the best game in that series. Look at Kevin Durant in Game 3. I mean, the narrative's out there. They're just, I mean, they're easy to bust. But like you said, the people that believe this stuff, they'll grab onto it, take it as gospel, and then use it as talking points in their arguments. I'm like, oh my God. Will you guys actually go back and watch the film or do the research, please?
Things won't ever change if the people like Nick Wright aren't punished. Like Nick Wright, instead is being rewarded for lying. He has people who like liars following him. And like Nick Wright, this is an exaggeration, but like in my mind, he should be in jail. I mean, what's appropriate punishment for not just doing your job incorrectly, but flat out lying when your job is to report historical information about the NBA? I mean, there's got to be a deeper punishment than just losing your job, which of course he's not even losing his job, but there needs to be something like banned from the industry. Is that fair?
Yeah. Right. Sports analyst jail of some nature. What do you got, Robin?
No, there was a couple of things that I wanted to hit on. You guys are mentioning the 96 finals, that I hear also is that you often hear people talk about George Karl and him putting deadlift shrimp on Michael Jordan to start the NBA Finals. There was a lot made about him making that move going into the finals. Oh, let's put deadlift shrimp on Michael Jordan. Deadlift shrimp is 6'10". Let's put some size, some length on Michael Jordan, right? But why would George Karl think about making a move like that? Once again, this is what Michael Jordan does to you coming into a series. You start overthinking things. You start to worry. You start to think about the game plans. What are you going to do against Michael Jordan? Who's going to stop him? When you think about the personnel of the Seattle Supersonics and you think about the way Michael Jordan approached that series and how it ended up going down, guys like Nate McMillan were banged up, missed several games, and he was a defensive guy. Guys like Hersey Hawkins, right? There's someone like Deadlift Shrimp, someone like Gary Payton, but why would you not put Gary Payton on Michael Jordan? First, let's understand Gary Payton's supposed to be your main guy on offense. Him and Sean Kemp are supposed to be leading your offense. So you're going to have him guarding Michael Jordan every single game, all game long? It's not going to happen, man. He's not going to be able to do it. Once again, we have to understand these things, man. This is part of the game plan. This is what Michael Jordan does to people coming into these series.
Nick, you've been quiet. You want to chime in, or are you just enjoying it?
No, I was going to ask him about what he thought about the 81 Finals MVP with Maxwell and Bird.
I mean, Bird had a couple pretty bad games in there. I think Maxwell, it was almost like nobody really stood out, so they just gave it to the leading scorer is what I'm thinking. Bird was just not great in 81. I mean, they got pushed 6 games by a 40-42 Houston team. Now, granted, they were red hot. They had Moses Malone in MVP form. But still, that was actually the second finals I ever saw. I was a very young kid. But, Bird, I remember thinking, like, well, Bird was killing it all playoffs. What's he doing out there? Missing shots, making turnovers, bad plays. Yeah. Maxwell was just the most steady guy in that series. But, I think they got it right, even though it pained me because I was such a big Larry Bird fan when I was a young kid. But, I think it should have went to Maxwell. There's really nothing you could say why Bird should have won that one. But I can't believe it even went 6 games. I can't even believe Houston made the finals. There's a lot of upsets in there. And, you're funny.
They beat the Lakers that year.
Yeah. Reggie Miller said on TV this year, that's the first time the Lakers, as a 3-seed or better, lost in the first round. I'm like, that's not true. 81, the Lakers in the first round got beat by Houston. I know it was a best-of-3 series, but he did not stipulate. He just said first round. They got beat in the first round in 81 by Houston, a 40-42 team. So actually, he was incorrect by saying that. But again, I don't know if he means like the best of 5 or 7 or whatever. He didn't stipulate, but that's actually wrong. As soon as he said it, I was like, that's wrong. I mean, Magic and Kareem and them, they got beat. They didn't play good, and Moses stuck it to Kareem.
It's wild that a bad series for Bird is like 15-15, 7 assists, and 2.5 steals.
I think they touched on that. They touched on that controversy a little bit about that MVP in the Celtic City documentary from Bill Simmons, if anyone's interested in checking it out. Let me read some supers, if you guys don't mind. Praise the Dawn says LeBron fans regurgitate everything they hear hatchet nose Nick Wrong say, along with that mush mouth 56-year-old Madonna Shannon Sharp. The fact that there's even a question about Shannon Sharp returning to ESPN lets you know that there aren't really any standards left. There shouldn't really even be a question, should there?
No. I deal with this stuff on my channel. I can only imagine what you deal with, AOH. You must just, all day long you hear this stuff from these people, and it's the same stuff over and over. Sometimes they try to dress it in a different way, but it all comes from Nick Wright, Shannon Sharp, Colin Cowherd, or Kendrick Perkins. 90% of it all comes from those guys.
Well, I have to, there's some value in setting the record straight, but they also have this little strategy, like they distract. If I spend time on that, then I'm not spending time doing game breakdowns. I'm instead telling the world, hey, people are lying to you, which it seems like you shouldn't have to be spending time pointing out that people are lying, but that's the world we live in now. And they move, and there's so much of it. Like you can't even keep up. It's like, oh shit, wait, what was I going to debunk on Monday because they lied again on Tuesday?
Yeah, right. You're right.
Jolly Joshams with a $10 super chat says Jordan without a single ring is still 10x scoring champ, 5x MVP, defensive player of the year, owned his own book worth of NBA records, and just a spectacle on the court. I doubt anyone would keep him out of the top 15 or 20 with 0 rings. Joshams is saying even without 1 ring, he's still top, which...
he is the best two-way guard has ever played at a minimum, right?
Yeah, you look at a player like Elgin Baylor, he never led the league in anything. He never won an MVP. He never... never won a championship. He's still regarded as a top 25 all-time player. Karl Malone never led the league in anything and never won a championship. He's regarded as a top 20 player to most people. So Michael Jordan would have been probably top 12 without a ring, I would think. Oscar Robertson only has 1 championship, and he's top 15-ish. So, yeah, Michael Jordan wouldn't be a stretch. Maybe even top 10 without a ring.
Patrick Blakely says Nick Wright, a.k.a. Nostradamus. That's kind of funny.
What's funny about some of the guys you just mentioned right there, Jim, and you think about, what you were talking about them not leading the league in something. Why is that? Think about what it took. It took someone like Will Chamberlain, who was playing back then, who was dominating the statistics, man, the record books. There's Jerry West ain't leading the league in nothing either back in them days, man. And all the scoring he was doing. You mentioned these guys that were great scorers, but they don't even get these recognitions because Michael Jordan was dominating the record books. So someone like Karl Malone, didn't get a lot of scoring titles when he played.
Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it's all right.
I was just going to say, how Scap Attack goes on and on about Jokic. He loves him some Jokic. And I'm not saying he's not great. I'm not saying anything. But he has 1 championship. And he's never led the league in anything. And people are already ready to put him in the top 10. I've heard that.
Never led the league in anything?
Nope.
Never. No.
Oh, that's surprising.
He's got the MVPs. He's got 1 championship.
Unless you want to count triple doubles as like a stat.
I guess. But the traditionals, no, he doesn't.
Yeah.
Right.
And Sabonis usually leads the league in double doubles.
Yeah. God, they're so easy to get now. It's amazing.
Like 3,000 a season, man.
I remember Jason Kidd would get like 4 in a year, and he would lead the league. That's like a week for these guys now.
Yeah, and no one celebrated as much. Jason Kidd was doing this crazy stuff out there on the court. He was getting triple doubles, taking like 5 shots a game. You know what I'm saying? And just dominating the boards at like 6'4". In an era where you had legit big men still down low battling for these rebounds. It's just because it was a different kind of game when you think about these things. And when you think about him compared to someone like Russell Westbrook, let's say, and their rebounding prowess. And I'm not saying that Russell Westbrook's not a good rebounder for his position at his size, but I'm going to put Jason Kidd above him because Jason Kidd that was rebounding was fighting for these rebounds. The rebounds Russell Westbrook gets, a lot of them are those cheap rebounds from these 3-point shots that are being chucked up. We get all of this.
Yeah,
let me read Daryl Jones, who says Tom Brady called LeBron the greatest athlete ever at the Fanatics event. Only weeks before, he didn't have LeBron in his top 5. But what is so hilarious? Tom Brady is the face of ring culture. Yeah, boy, the walking it back shit's weird. I saw Caruso walked back had to walk back his comment about the bubble chip. Boy, if that isn't setting off warnings in people's heads that you aren't even allowed to speak your mind anymore. Can draw some parallels.
I'm sure Fanatics. I was gonna say, I'm sure Fanatics paid Brady to say that.
What did he actually say?
Who?
What did he
Which
say
one?
about the bubble exactly? That it wasn't
He
legit?
said, now I
Is that
got,
what
he
he was
said, now I
saying?
got a real one. And then he
So
turned
he
around
knew.
and said, oh, I'm just kidding. And
Right.
Caruso, yeah.
you know, it's
But
not
see,
like
there's
he
an
said,
interesting
knew.
thing I'm talking about, man. When we
Well,
talk
then-
about something like integrity,
yeah.
and you're someone like Tom Brady, you should be able to say whatever you want and stand on it if you really mean it. I'm not saying to say something crazy, but if you believe it and you mean it, you're Tom Brady, damn it. You've earned that cachet. So you should be able to say, hey, listen, man, when he's naming the greatest GOATs of all time, and you named 1 billion people, you named people that we haven't heard of in years. He named Michael Johnson, guys. Michael Johnson. Do you guys remember? Not
Okay.
Magic Johnson.
I do.
Not Michael Jordan.
No, I
not
remember.
Michael Jackson. He
Gold
named
shoes,
Michael
baby.
Johnson. And he did not mention LeBron James. He mentioned all these people. So you're telling me, even if they paid you money to say something, if I'm Tom Brady and I'm standing on business, I'm supposed to be a man of my word, then I'm going to say, I don't need your money and I don't need your venue. I'm making your venue right now. I'm Tom Brady, man. What the hell are we doing here? And he was right next to LeBron James when he said it. So once again, you guys come across as hypocritical and you guys come across as having no integrity and not really ever meaning what you say. There's a problem with a lot of these guys. We could bring up audio and video of all of these guys saying one thing here, one thing there. I hear Isaiah Thomas pump Scottie Pippen up left and right. I could bring up audio of Isaiah Thomas saying, who the hell is Scottie Pippen to now want me on the dream team? He's not on my level, but you're just pumping this dude up into another realm, though. It doesn't make sense. These guys are hypocrites. This dude, Gilbert Arenas, bashes Kobe Bryant, says he's the next Pippen. Meanwhile, we find out he has a tattoo, number 24, on his body for Kobe Bryant. You make no sense, man.
It takes the fun out of even tuning in to sports debates because it's no longer, oh, what's this guy's take on it? It's what was he paid to say today?
Yeah.
You're just tuning in to see what people were paid to say. Not
I was going to say, like, we could put the whole what do other people think and say and whatever to bed. I'm sure a lot of you guys know Jimmy High Roller. He's a pretty big basketball channel. He kind of did one where he talked about the polling of players who have played with like Kobe, LeBron, and Jordan. People have been polled over, decades now, over probably 10 plus years now about who they think the GOAT is. And I mean, it's like a 75, 80% favorite towards LeBron, whether it's fans, players, coaches, it just all the way across the board. Like people just straight up vote for Michael Jordan as the greatest player of all time. Right.
Oh,
so
you said LeBron
that's why I always get tired of like hearing this new thing of like, did you hear what this guy said and that guy said? And I was like, why don't we just go to the polls? Right. Like, why don't we just see what everybody says? And it's very obvious who they pick.
Boy, you got to look at who they pull out of the weeds in order to say, oh, I've got LeBron as my GOAT. I'm like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah, right. Yeah, or they tame the hell out of you when you come on TV. Like Paul Pierce said, LeBron's not even top 10. Then he gets a job. I remember if it was Fox or ESPN. Now he's saying that, he might be the GOAT with the longevity. How do you go from outside the top 10 to now the GOAT in a month? I couldn't believe it. Like, where's the integrity? Kevin Garnett did a similar thing too. What a joke. All these people are just jokes. And then Reggie Miller, another one. I'm so he was my favorite player in the late 80s, early 90s. He disappointed me beyond, oh man, I can't even tell you. It's like you have to kiss LeBron's ass if you are going to be on TV, period. There's no way around it.
Draymond set the record from calling LeBron a bitch to calling him the GOAT as fast as signing a contract with Clutch.
Yep.
I mean, it was that fast.
Yep.
But the person who walked it back the most, or not the most, but the one that disturbs me still is Jaylen Brown sitting in the crowd whispering to someone next to him, and he couldn't even get away with that. Just saying, I'm not so sure Bronny's ready to be here. God damn. You can't fucking turn to someone next to you in the crowd and just say, I'm not so sure he's ready. God
and what did
damn.
he say? What did he say after that? He walked it back?
Oh yeah. And the timing is weird. It's like a day or two goes by, so there's plenty of time for it to get into the media and for Clutch to put in the call and someone to change their mind.
Wow.
Well, yeah, while we're talking about people saying ridiculous shit, I saw Scap did a video on what McGrady said about Kobe. Did you see that?
Yeah.
About how he said, well, he would win rings with Shaq too if he was with them.
Yep.
McGrady never got out of the first round, dude. It is so mind-boggling where these guys come up with this shit. And like, I'm a big T-Mac guy. Like, I feel like he's one of those guys who was put into a lab and he was just shit out as a basketball player, dude. 6'8", 40-inch vert, can essentially do anything you want. He never got out of the first round. He had Yao Ming. He had plenty of help along the way. He was up 3-1 against Detroit when he was at Orlando. Blew that lead to get out of the first round. Like, it's just like I don't know. I don't know where these guys come up with this shit, man.
And
like,
Nick, I just want to thank you for mentioning that video instead of the one Robin and I did on that way before. But
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Thanks for not watching.
I apologize. I didn't know. I'm sorry.
Hey, praise the Don. Well, that one takes us. Let's see. This is from earlier in the show. He's talking about when Mitch Richmond got a ring in 2002. Yeah, I mean, I kind of forgot about that. Mm-hmm. And Living Humbly is going to kind of take us on to another topic. Jim, if you want to stick around, you're welcome. If you need to go.
Nope, this is a good time. I'm going to go, so you guys enjoy your Sunday. I love your new perm, AOH. That's smooth. I like that. Very welcome back, Cotterish. All right.
No, be good, Jim. Thanks for coming through, man.
All right, man. Yep, you guys enjoy.
So, Jim, great stuff on that channel. Go check out Self-Researched NBA Facts. Living Humbly reminds me of a headline that I saw and said, nope, not clicking on this one. Grown men crying over meeting another man lets you know this generation is doomed. And some guy meeting LeBron James, I guess, started crying. Do we want to talk about this?
Well, we don't have to go into details or anything like that. But once again, this is LeBron James fan base, guys. Like, see, this is the thing. Real quickly, this is the thing about this, and this is the bottom line here. If you met a hero of yours, right? Whoever in your mind is a hero, someone that you look up to for whatever the reasons are, maybe it's a mentor of yours, whatever it is. If you meet that person, however you feel meeting that person, I think it's fine. You can have that reaction. Okay, I get it. My problem is, it's LeBron James. You feel that way about LeBron James? Because let's be real here. Let's understand. We've all seen LeBron James over the last 22 seasons. This ain't got nothing to do with his game, the on-the-court stuff. Let's talk about how he's carried himself off the court. Let's think about how he's been lacking sportsmanship, lacking class. The things that we talk about that you should strive to be as an adult, a grown-up. So if you're an adult, if you're supposed to be viewed in society as an adult, then you should strive to have these kinds of views and all these kinds of things. And the people that you're striving to be like, they should have those kinds of values and those kinds of things too to them, because you ultimately gravitate to people that are similarly to you or believe in the things that you believe in, that you want to get behind. You're not going to get behind someone that you don't like or you don't believe in how they act, would you? So that's my big thing about this guy. He was 34 years old, this person, and he's crying meeting LeBron James for the first time. And this guy's a big-time content creator, big-time YouTuber, man. And this is how you get? I mean, my goodness, it doesn't make any – it's LeBron James, man.
I've always wanted to flop like you. I've always wanted to throw teammates under the bus like you and cry on every podcast you've ever been on like you. It's the disturbing part of the LeBron James world is what it means about his followers. It's like you are attracted to escaping accountability. You are attracted to blaming others. You are attracted to victimhood mentality, which means you're not a man. You're not a man, and you worship someone who isn't a man.
Crying over people who throw balls through hoops is pretty wild. I will say that. That's crazy work.
It's LeBron James, man. LeBron James. LeBron, the guy who was fake reading books. You're crying meeting that guy. A guy who fake vandalized his home. You're crying meeting him. A guy that you watch flop over and over and over again like a complete fool. A guy that you've seen 1 minute flex on people and then the next minute roll around on the floor holding his head. Are you kidding me? You're crying meeting that guy? He came to a post-game wearing a soft cast on his hand? A guy who's like Elway said, has never taken accountability a day in his life. You're crying meeting him. You didn't meet Martin Luther King, man. You didn't meet some crazy honorable person. Mike, you didn't meet Denzel Washington. You met that dude, LeBron James.
Speaking of cowardice, Rise Above Anything points out something that we've all noticed is Gil wasn't speaking like this when Kobe was alive. You know, waiting until someone dies to start talking trash is, well, that's the LeBron James fan base behavior, isn't it? Rise Above Anything also says Gilbert Arenas is a joke. He lies so much for views. Yeah, I did a video asking, you know, is he really this dumb or is it intentional? And whichever answer you come up with is bad. You know, you're a shitty person either way, Gilbert. Let me keep going with these supers before I fall too behind. At Lomo, thank you for the super. They collectively get the memo in clutch and just start spewing lies for that week or month. No consequences, just as saying, here we go again. And the LeBron fans eagerly eating it up and repeating it. Works pretty well when you have a fucking stupid fan base out there ready to spread lies. Just keep putting the lies out there. And Shannon is ironically turning into the man he helped cancel, Skip Bayless. Your only controversy proof for so long, Shannon. Ooh, interesting.
Have you seen the guys? Have you seen that guy who does the Skip Bayless impression on TikTok?
No.
It's pretty good. I'll send it later, but it's funny.
Oh, that's funny. I didn't know that.
So I'm not even gonna
wait
try.
till I tell you. He like does all the mannerisms. It's so funny, dude.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
LeBron fans are part of the, I don't know, what's an ABC community? I don't want to say things I shouldn't say.
ABC. You can't say anything these days, man. But
I always knew ABC is always be closing in sales. That's all I've ever known it as.
Hooked on Phonics. That's the part of the Hooked on Phonics crew.
Special K says, AOH, are you going for the John Oates look? Oh, like Daryl Hall and John Oates? I didn't think about John Oates.
Yes. Yes.
Hey, that's fine. Great.
Private Eyes.
Great band. Boy, we're going to have to queue up some Hall & Oates here. Bandana Dan. I'm still catching up. Hey, Robin, why don't you read Bandana Dan just to mix things up?
All right, let's do it, man. Shout out to Bandana Dan. Once again, another true supporter, always out here, leaving some good stuff out here, man. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm a high school track coach. I tell kids now that I won't debate them on LeBron anymore because I don't like being the one to tell them Santa Claus isn't real. Absolutely, man. Much respect to Bandana. That's where we're at now. I'm trying to tell my man Nick this. You can't debate these LeBron James goofballs like I told you. It's like trying to debate a flat earther and they're trying to explain to them that the earth is not flat. These people are going to believe in that, man. No matter what you do, it doesn't matter, man. These people are set in their ways. It's like a bunch of idiots out here.
Careful, Nick's a flat earther.
Yeah, I haven't come out yet, but I need to talk to you guys afterwards about that.
Oh, come on, Nick, damn it, man.
I'm just kidding. I'm just joking.
I'm kidding, Robin.
No, of course I'm not a flat earther.
Yo, man, these people will come after you, man.
Yeah. Or I am a flat earther. If you're going to come after me, then yeah, I'm a flat earther. I don't disagree.
Hey, what else is burning on your minds, guys?
I really just the Ace Bailey thing. I find I don't want to say I find it interesting, right? But I'm just sort of keeping my eye on it because the Ainge. What I've heard is like the Ainge front office is not going to budge. Like they're not going to give in to this guy. So if this guy's really committed, he could end up sitting out the whole season. I think it'd be really interesting. And then if he doesn't stay in shape, who knows what happens? Like he could be like out of the league if this stuff really spirals out of control. I mean, I don't think it'll get that far, but. I'm just kind of interested to see how it plays out. I'm
actually kind of excited to get back to editing some of the projects that I've put on hold today. I got to figure out which ones to jump to. So I'm happy to keep talking if anyone's got anything burning in their minds, but we might just keep this to a clean hour. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll say one other thing. I did pretty good on my Indiana Pacers long bet last year. Right now, I'm looking at, in terms of value, right? I like to look at value, not just who I think is going to win. But I think the Hawks and the Suns, if you want to throw $5-10 down on a team and maybe you get lucky, I think the payout could be pretty big. So that's my little gambling tidbit of the show.
Oh, that's right. You do a lot of gambling, right?
I like to pay attention to the lines. I wouldn't say I do like a lot of gambling, but I do find Vegas. I do find it interesting how they sort of gauge the games. I do like to pay attention. It's the most sort of unbiased, looking at who is better than who by how much, or what do the guys who really put millions of dollars on this thing think. I do find it as a good jumping off point when kind of maybe looking at teams and comparing them, stuff like that.
I want to say one thing, and I mean this with no disrespect to anybody in the chat. If you guys are subscribed to my channel, man, or you're subscribed to Nick's channel, I'm not speaking for Nick and AOH. I'm speaking for myself here. I find it disturbing how many people in the chat actually are trying to tell me that they believe the earth is flat. And I'm being serious. I'm going to be serious, guys. I'm not even joking about this. This is very sad. I want to be honest, because you know why it's sad? Because what I see from people is they try to come up with this thing that we believe the earth is not flat. We're believing this. Let me explain something to a lot of you people out here. I don't claim to be the smartest person. I don't claim to have all these degrees or have all this knowledge. I've never claimed to be better than anyone. I'm a regular common person, man. But the one thing I know is that I listen to people that know more than me. And the one thing that I've understood in my life is that science, to me, seems to be the one thing that you can point to and say that these people are not playing games when it comes to science. You have to put your money where your mouth is, so to speak, when it comes to science. So when we talk about the word belief, to believe it, this is not aliens, this is not UFOs, this is not Santa Claus that we're believing in. This is me listening to people that know more than me, that are well informed on these subjects, that have proven these things through testing these methods over and over and over again, peer-reviewed studies. So you guys in the chat, this weirdo out here, you guys are being weird. When you can come up with a peer-reviewed study, when you can make a video and you can prove it, you can talk to someone like Neil deGrasse Tyson, you can disprove someone like Isaac Newton and Albert Einstein, you can disprove the worst of guys like Stephen Hawking. When you're on that level, when we look at you as one of the smartest human beings in the history of mankind, then you can come talk to me, man. You guys are being real weird here. I don't understand this stuff, guys. And the weird thing about a lot of the flat earth people is they have this, really weird, need to try to prove the earth is not round. And that's weird to me because ultimately, who gives a damn, man? You should be out here living your life to the best you could. You guys spend more time and energy trying to disprove this stuff than you do worrying about reading food labels or what you're doing with the rest of your life. You guys are just getting weird, man. It's sad. It really is.
Can I jump in here? I want to jump in. I have two things real quick. So my main thing with the flat earth thing is let's say you're right. Let's say the earth, I can't believe we're going here, but let's do it. Let's say you're right and the earth is flat. Robin was kind of saying, what does that mean? If we have been fooled that bad, or if you're right, whatever, I'm still not sure what that really changes. Is it that the American government or that there's some Illuminati that is lying to us and keeping us in some kind of dome, flat earth structure? What does it matter? We're already cooked then. We're already so fucking far behind as a human population if we're being manipulated, controlled like that. Secondly, hold on real quick. Secondly, they already, I think it was 3 to 6 months ago, people did put money on the line and they said, we are going to go down to Antarctica and we're going to watch the 24-hour sun. The 24-hour sun proves that the earth is round and we're on an axis and rotating, right? Because obviously if the earth is flat, there always has to be a night, right? If it's going around or whatever. And essentially, this was it. There was a nail in the coffin that the earth is round. It is what we think it is. It is what we say it is. And they went to Antarctica and watched the 24-hour sun. And the bet was literally from the top of the people at the flat earth to the people who are debating on the other side. They said, we will pay for you to come out here and do this. And if you do this, you have to agree you're wrong. And the people went out there and half of the flat earthers were like, guys, we're wrong. And the other half were just like, no, we're still going to not believe it's round. You guys faked it. It was a big green screen. Like, the cope is just endless. Like, it doesn't matter what you show these people. They will
Put your money where your mouth is. Yeah. Put your money where your mouth is, all you fools. This fool hoop oracle. I want everyone.
Look, they never went to the Antarctica. He even said it.
Channel. Unsubscribe from my channel right now, you goofballs. You guys are weird, man. Put your money where your mouth is. Where's your money? Where's your videos? Make your videos. You guys sound insane. I was in the Navy. I've sailed to parts of the ocean that people have never been to. You guys would never see. I've been there. I've seen those oceans. I've been to those parts of the globe that are complete dark at nighttime. There's nothing around but darkness. I've been there. There's no end of earth. And once again, you sailed over a horizon. You clowns, I don't seem to get this, man. You guys are weird.
So many points. It's funny for them to accuse round earthers as relying on believing when they're relying on believing. I mean, if Robin, you mentioned Neil deGrasse Tyson, they can't out debate him, which means that they have to rely on believing. But to a more basic point, it doesn't matter if I think the earth is flat or round. So what do the round earthers gain? What do you gain by successfully fooling everyone that the earth is round? What's the accomplishment? I don't understand.
Are we believing in gravity? We're just believing in gravity. That doesn't exist because to be a flat earther, you can't believe in gravity. So once again, where are your peer-reviewed studies to dispute the laws of gravity? I just don't get it, man. You guys are weird, man. It's so, the reason why this is relevant to basketball to the degree is because this is LeBron James' fan base. They're believing nonsense. They're not looking at the facts. It smacks them in the face every day. We have the video footage. We have all the evidence. And you're still telling me LeBron James is XYZ. You guys are fools, man. Come on.
So I have a serious question.
In terms of the curvature, there's another group of flat earthers who went out and said, we have an experiment to prove that there's no curvature. They get out there and they do the experiment and they go, holy shit, there's a curve. You know what I mean? Like, every time these people try to disprove it, and we have to say, okay, we have to go and just show you these elementary reasons, the 24-hour sun, the curvature of light on the earth, right? It doesn't matter, man. Like, it's wild, dude. It really is a wild group of people.
Yeah, it's like us wasting time debunking the lies that Nick Wright puts out every day.
Guys out here using their cell phones. We out here live streaming a YouTube show, but they don't believe in satellites. They don't believe in none of this stuff. You guys are using the technology that you don't believe in. How weird are you? Insane,
this is just man. This is a pure question. It's not leaning one way or another. Does believing that the earth is flat also mean that you think that the moon and the other planets are fake? My follow-up is my follow-up is, are we the only ones that are flat and everyone else is round? And if so, why? Or did they just think that the moon that they're looking at is not there?
I don't know.
Is the moon not there? Is that all an illusion too? I
don't know.
And I understand that the moon is a moon, not an official planet. I'm so sorry. Videos, apparently, man. I should have been doing this flat Earth stuff. Apparently, I can't believe the reactions from some of the people in the chat. I'm really surprised, guys, at you guys, man. It's really interesting. I might have to do a spin-off channel because a sports and fitness rants. Now, I might need to do sports and sports talk or star talk or something like that, man. Because this is insane to me.
Talk.
I'm just going to clown you people out here. It's ridiculous that you guys are sitting here with the audacity. I mean, think about the human race. Think about the audacity of you guys to think that you're smarter than the smartest human beings. And the reason that you think you're smarter than them is because you think that it's a conspiracy that Einstein and Isaac Newton and all the people, Galileo and all the people that come up with all these theories and that prove all this stuff and do all these tests, NASA's fake and all this stuff. You guys are clowns, man. I mean, my God. Listen, I can tell you guys things in the military that I saw that you wouldn't believe, but I would tell you that, and I seen this stuff, but you wouldn't believe it, though, right?
Let's read some super chats.
Obviously it's basketball off season, so the topics are
shit. I mean, Robin has a point. That sort of mentality is on track with LeBroners. Okay, Okay, here we have. What did you guys? This is a basketball comment. Let's do that one real quick. The real Siberius says, "What did you guys think about LeBron talking about Cup and then making about himself and AI had no help?" Well, we touched on that at the beginning of the show. It was typical disgustingness. Within the first few seconds, he had to make it about himself, and it was whining. And my take on it was, you're just proving once again that you're not Michael Jordan, because Michael Jordan didn't walk into an established environment. He became the environment. But it's a valid thing to ask about the real Siberius, and it's worth doing a video on. But once again, as I said, which one do you choose? Because by the time the show's over, he'll have said something else stupid. I mean, we didn't even talk about LeBron James now saying he's happy to be back in the gym working on his knee rehab, when he gave his knee the craziest workout we've ever seen in that dancing video shortly after his injury. I haven't seen LeBron James exercise that hard playing basketball as he was in that fucking dancing video. There was more effort in that than he gives on the court, and that was shortly after his injury. And now he's excited to start working out his knee again. Jesus Christ! See, he sent me down a. Fuck. All right, Robin. Wow, nice big fat juicy super from Sonny Wood. Thank you, Robin. Go ahead.
Yo, shout out to Sonny Woods. Thank you very much for coming through. On the Shaq could win with everyone crap. He could win with Hardaway and that he couldn't win with Hardaway and that stacked team and Eddie Jones and Nick Van Exel, but he won with Kobe and Wade. T-Mac wouldn't have won a ring with Shaq. Absolutely. These are things that we've been talking about. These guys are trying to rewrite their own history. Like I said, they can't even be satisfied with their own careers and how their careers played out. They have to try to once again pump themselves up into a realm that they were never in.
Yeah, if anything, T-Mac, you just kind of proved the point that you would have robbed Shaq of rings that he did get.
Right.
Thank you for not ruining Shaq's legacy.
You would have prevented Shaq from winning a championship. Hey, guys, I got to get rolling, man.
Okay.
I got that party to go to, man.
Yeah.
Yo, shout out to all you guys in the chat, man. I know we got a little weird here, man. We went over into the beaten weeds and stuff like that. I get all that, man. But I mean, my God, man, for real. Goodness gracious.
Well,
Guys.
Robin, let me read a response to the round earth so you can enjoy that, and then you can go.
Okay.
Jolly Joshin says, "Of course, the Earth is round. If it wasn't, we couldn't have a hollow Earth." Where the lizard people come from. Oh, Jolly Joshins.
That's what we should do. We need to set up a hollow Earth versus flat Earth. That's the debate to make. That is a debate to make.
Holy shit. That
Yo,
was
listen,
good.
man, listen. I'm being real though. I might need to do a spin-off channel. There might be something to this, man. This might be my calling.
Dart texted me and said
Shout out to all you guys,
someone
man.
made.
I hope everybody's a great Sunday, man. AOH, thank you once again for doing this as always, man. Yo, Nick, once again, man, great for you to be here again. Thank you. Like I said, guys, I'm truly humbled, man, for real. It means a lot. You guys take it easy, man, and I'll catch you guys on the next one, man.
All right, Robin. Thank you.
Later. I was gonna say, Dart texted me funny. He said someone made a sports and science like rant comment, which would actually be a funny spinoff too.
Hey, I'll go on that show.
Yeah. All right, I gotta get going too. It was a good show.
Cool. Thanks, Nick.
Bye, guys.
Everyone, I'm going to stick around and read these final supers and then get to editing. Fred B. Jams told my son he will be punished if he sings that LeBron song again. I'm raising him to be a man, not a LePunk. Good for you and good luck with that. I'm sorry that it's even a challenge. It sounds like starting on the wrong foot, unfortunately. He sang the LeBron song. But good for you. You got to set the standard for these young people, unlike the Nick Wrights of the world and the LeBron Jameses of the world, who lower the standard. At Praise the Dawn, we need more conspiracy topics like this. Well, we may have a side channel. Will there be a community link at some point later? Says Nick Tri-State. Not today. Everybody's gone. Sorry. But I tell you what, Robin and I are going to do a lot of lives this summer. So probably lots of opportunities for calling in during those. At Special K 6374 says, AKA Gemini Girl, I don't know where the name change came from. Oh, well, I love a sports and fitness rant. Oh, well, that happened to Renee too. So we have multiple people here who suddenly have different names and apparently didn't do that to themselves. Yeah, I don't know. YouTube's done weird things. I was trying to tell 93Z that I saw comments on his channel from me that I did not type, which is pretty scary. I mean, that's really scary if you think about it. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And I'm going to keep it short today, but watch for some more videos to come out shortly. All right.